Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to give you a video of my favourite brushes because I haven't done that before, and since it's getting closer and closer to Christmas, I know a lot of people will be asking for brushes as Christmas presents, and you know, you want to find out which are the best. I mean, is it worth investing in the expensive ones? Can you just find something just as good a lot cheaper? And to be fair, a lot of my brushes, to be honest, are on the cheaper side, and I'm just going to basically go step by step and tell you which ones are my favourites. So if you want to see them, just keep watching. So I'm just going to talk about the brushes in the order that I use them. With primer, I personally don't use a brush, I just use my fingers. Everyone has their different preference, but I just don't bother. So I'm going to move on straight to foundation. And for foundation, I'm a sponge girl, to be honest. I mean, everyone and their mum has heard about the Beauty Blender. It was like the original damp sponge that everyone was just absolutely loving, and I have to say I'm a die-hard fan for it. It's basically all I use for foundation, like for liquid foundation. For stick foundation and like cream foundations and stuff that's a bit thicker, I do like to go in with a brush, only because I think on my skin anyway it just works better and it buffs it in better, whereas the Beauty Blender can sometimes just take some of the product away when I'm working with creams. So I like to use the Morphe M439 brush, which looks like this, strictly for stick and cream foundations, and it's super dense. So literally all I do is just buff and pat that into the skin. I don't ever wipe, I literally just pat, and this works so well, and it just gives a really nice flawless coverage, and I love it. Back to the Beauty Blender. These are kind of pricey. I mean, for me, they just give the best finish. Like, your skin literally just looks so flawless, and obviously it is a sponge, so it does sort of soak up some of the product, but I'm kind of heavy-handed sometimes with products, so that's actually good for me because I can end up looking like a complete cake face if this didn't take some of it away. And I also actually use this to set my under eyes and like the other areas that I conceal. I don't know why, but you have to use this damp, but using a damp sponge with powder just works really well for like underneath the eyes. It just stops you getting like dry or looking cakey under there. It's just amazing. But I do have a couple of cheaper options for you. The other one, which I'm sure you've heard about as well, is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. This is a really great dupe actually for the Beauty Blender. It's not exactly the same because it has a bit of a different texture, but the result is pretty much the same, and it's a bit of a different shape. I mean, this can be quite good for like baking or like baking underneath to like clean up your contour and stuff like that. It is really good. My only pet peeve with this is that I find it really hard to clean. I don't know if anyone else does, but I use the same stuff for this that I do with the Beauty Blender, and it just doesn't come up as clean, or sometimes the sponge breaks in places when I'm trying to clean it. But I mean, if you don't mind just replacing it, these are like £6 opposed to 16. So I do understand why this is a great dupe. Another one as well that's completely different to those two is one that I got fairly recently. Probably I've been using it for the past month or so. And this is the Mikasa Lemon Drop Beauty Sponge. It's a different texture, same result, to be honest, and I really like the bottom side as well. As you can see, it's a really cute little shape, and the bottom side is really great for blending out your foundation. And then this bit you could actually use to blend out your cream contour as well. I personally don't because I do like a brush for that, but we'll get to that next. Okay, so obviously I do use my damp sponge also to blend out my concealer when I'm highlighting and all of that jazz, but for cream contour I do actually choose not to use the Beauty Blender because I have a brush which I just absolutely love using, and the brush that I love to use for that is this Real Techniques, what is it called, Sculpting Brush, which looks like this, and it's another really dense like packing brush, and I literally just use dabbing motions wherever I've, you know, placed my cream contour, and it keeps it within that spot, like it just doesn't move, and it just blends out seamlessly, and it does it so quickly. I absolutely love this brush, and obviously it's super affordable because it's Real Techniques. Now, if I don't use my damp sponge to set my under eyes, I do have another brush which I absolutely love, and it's so soft, and it's really important to have a soft brush for your under eyes because it's such, you know, a delicate area. And I love going in with this blank canvas F41 brush, and this, oh my god, you guys, it's so soft, and it's literally the perfect size for me personally to like go underneath the eyes. And sometimes I even go in with like a banana powder after I've set my under eyes just to give a bit more coverage there, and this is so perfect for that. I really highly recommend it. So next I want to talk about a brush that I basically just use to set my whole face, because I don't like to set my whole face with a translucent powder because I prefer a little bit more coverage. I normally go in with the powder and foundation to set the outer perimeter of my face before I go in with my like powder, contour and stuff. So the big fluffy brush that is always my go-to is again Real Techniques, and it's this Multitasker brush. It's a huge fluffy brush. I'm really sorry that these are a little bit dirty, but like I said, they're my favourites and I basically use them every day. And again, super affordable, and you can get Real Techniques sets. I know there's a massive set in Boots right now in the UK where you can get like a load of Real Techniques brushes for a really good price, so it'd be great for Christmas. Okay, so contour brushes is something that I've basically been searching for so long. I just couldn't really find the perfect contour brush that I would reach for every day. I'd end up like trying loads of different ones, and sometimes it'd be super patchy, other days it'd be fine, but like I just wanted to find like a really good contour brush, and I have found it. I basically always use the Morphe M5 330. I basically always reach for my Morphe M530, this brush right here. I absolutely love this for contour. For me, it's just the perfect size, and it's super fluffy and soft, so you get a really nice blended look. I hate when my contour is patchy. That's like a huge pet peeve of mine, and it does happen quite often, I can't lie to you. Sometimes it's the brush, sometimes it's the product. You know, when you're trying out loads of different things, sometimes it just doesn't work, but this always keeps my contour looking on point. So next I want to talk about my highlighting brushes. Now I do have two that I want to mention because these are two that I reach for kind of equally. It just depends if some days I want to use a fan brush and other days I want to use something that's a little bit denser just to pack on a bit more highlight, which I'm sure most people want. Okay. So there are actually two brushes that I want to talk about that I use to highlight. Because basically I reach for them both equally and they're both my favourite. They're just completely different. One's a fan brush and one's like a bit more of a denser packing brush. So the fan brush that I like to use is the Morphe M143. Huge fan brush like this, and it's like dense enough to pack on a decent amount of highlight, because I hate fan brushes that just don't put enough product on. I don't want to be there for like 15 minutes trying to pack on my highlight. It just makes it super easy, literally just like this. Makes it super easy to get your highlight popping. And the next highlighting brush that I like to use is this Morphe M438, which looks like this. It's like a pointed, it's like a tapered, I think it's meant to be for under eyes. I think it's a tapered under eye brush, but it's so good for highlighting, literally, and it fits perfectly on the top of the cheekbones. I absolutely love it, and then you can go in and hit the other points of your face as well. This just packs on the product a little bit more, which some days I'm into, some days I'm not. That's why I chop and change between the two, but this is another really great one. But you could also use this for your under eyes if you wanted to. So I am a blush girl, and I always like to have my blush brush on hand, and I literally, guys, use the same one every single day, and I have done for years, because it's this Bobbi brown sheer powder brush, which I have had since the beginning of time. It feels like the first time that I ever got into makeup. Well, the first high-end brand that I ever bought from was Bobbi Brown, and I think this was the first brush that I ever bought, and it stayed with me because it's so good. It basically just deposits enough pigment and blends out perfectly, because with blush you don't want it to be too pigmented, because you'll start looking a little bit crazy, and then you have to go in and, you know, tone it down and blend it out or whatever. But this just makes my life so easy, and it deposits perfect amount of pigment. Absolutely love it. Granted, this is on the more like pricey side, but I've had it for so long and used it so many times that for me personally it's been totally worth it, so I do really recommend it. So I don't contour my nose every single day, but when I do, you need a really great brush to do it with, because otherwise you end up with like really crazy lines down your nose and it's just not cute. But the one that I've been reaching for at the moment is this Iconic London. It doesn't actually have a name on it. It doesn't have a name, but I think it comes in this set. You get a set of like different like eye brushes and stuff, which are really great as well. But you get this brush. It's like a fluffy kind of angled brush, and this is so perfect, if you can see. This is so perfect for doing nose contour. Like, I personally powder contour my nose, and I literally take a tiny bit off, tap off the excess, and really lightly just go down like the centre of my nose, each side, like 2 little lines, but making sure that it's super blended out. and this makes my job so easy. I absolutely love it. And if you're looking for like brush sets for Christmas and stuff like that, Iconic London have some really great options, and the brushes are really great quality, and they're not too pricey either. They're kind of like midway, but I do really recommend them. And look at that colour, it's so pretty. It's like rose gold with white, I just love that. So moving on to brows, the majority of the time I do choose to use a brow pencil. I always reach for the Anastasia brow definer or brow wiz, either of the two, absolutely love it. And it comes with a little spoolie on the end, which is just perfect. But on the days that I choose to go in with like a dip brow or a pomade or something like that, then obviously you need a really great brush to be able to do your brows with, and this one, surprise surprise from Anastasia as well, is literally the best, well in my opinion it's the best brush ever to do your brows. This part right here is like a really slim angled brush at the top, which is so good for getting really precise lines and stuff when you're doing your brow, and you can do the really like little brow hairs and stuff to make your brows look as natural as possible. And then the best part about this brush as well is on the other end there is a spoolie, so you don't have to like reach for another one or whatever, it's literally all on the same brush, and I have used this so much. So it is on the more expensive side for a brush, but again, once you get the use out of it, it's so worth it. Okay, so moving on to the eyes, I have 4 favourite brushes just for the eye makeup, and then 2 brushes for eyeliner. So I'm going to go through the just eyeshadow brushes first, and the first one I'm going to talk about is this Sigma tapered blending brush. I think the number's kind of like rubbed off. I think it's E40, but I will look it up and link it in the description box below. This brush, oh my god, I think this is really old now because I've had it for so long, but it's my absolute favourite blending brush. Like for the crease, for my first like transition shade, this is what I use every single day. Like it's so fluffy, and it deposits the product so well and blends like a dream, honestly. So the next brush that I want to talk about is this Morphe M433, again with the Morphe, they're just so good. It's this blending brush right here. It's basically a more precise blending brush than the Sigma one I just spoke about. So I basically use this to deposit darker colours like into the crease and also on the outer corner, and it can actually be really handy if you have 2 of these, because obviously one's going to have a lot of pigment left on it, and then you can go in with the clean one and use that as a kind of blending brush as well, along with your, you know, first brush, the Sigma blending brush. And obviously Morphe is really affordable, so you can actually afford to get 2, rather than like MAC brushes where I ain't paying that kind of money for 2 brushes. Do you know what I mean? But saying that, the next brush that I'm going to talk about is actually from MAC, and it is my absolute ride or die, cannot live without MAC brush. Like I do have other MAC brushes as well, but this is the one, like if you could only get one MAC brush, this would be the one I tell you to get, because I use it every single day. It's the MAC 242, which I'm sure you've heard about. It's just a flat shader brush that I use to pack colour onto my lid, and it's just so good, you guys. It's so good. Like MAC brushes are more expensive, but this is so worth it. I literally use it every day and I cannot live without it. So moving on to the lower lash line, if there was only one brush that I could have for my lower lash line, it would be this Mikasa E310 pencil brush right here. It's the fluffiest pencil brush I've ever come across in my life. It's so good, because I find with a lot of pencil brushes they can be like, can feel like really hard and really harsh underneath the eyes, but this blends out any colour underneath the eye so well, and it gives you that really nice like smoky look underneath the eye, and I just absolutely love it. And Mikasa Beauty is also super affordable, and if you do want to save a little bit of money, I do actually have a coupon code with them, which I will link below. You don't have to use it, but it's Christmas coming up, so if you want a bit of money off, have a little look. Now, last but not least, I'm going to talk about my eyeliner brushes, and I have 2. So the angle brush that I absolutely love is a 317 wing liner brush from Zoeva. It's just the perfect shape. It's so thin as well, so you can get that line super crisp at the end. And it makes your job so easy, because you can literally use one side to go up and create the outer portion of the wing, turn it over, bring it down, fill it in, boom, you're done. And if I want to just use a really super thin little brush like this, this one is from Makeup Geek. It's the bent liner brush, and I really like the shape of it. I don't know, like the bend in it just makes it so much easier. It almost works like the angle brush, just in the way that like you literally just bring it up, turn it, bring it down, and it works like an absolute dream. And it's super thin as well, so again you can get the really crisp line. Another really great brush. So that is it for this video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I personally really love videos like this because I like to find out the different brushes that people love using, and most of these are pretty affordable, so a lot of you will be able to purchase them, or you know, get other people to get them for you for Christmas. A lot of these you can get in the UK as well. Places like Cult Beauty stock Morphe, and Real Techniques you can get in like Boots and stuff like that. And for my American friends, you obviously can pretty much get everything that I talked about. Make sure that you guys leave a comment and tell me your favourite brushes as well so that I can check them out. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. I do post every single week, and I also have like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all of that jazz, so you can follow me in there as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!